For working. Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Did you? It's okay.
I haven't emailed back.
Okay,
yet, but,
okay.
like, thank you.
It's no
Other
worries.
options.
And we're just gonna give Mr. Denby a few minutes. He'll be right back. All right. About to order this LTAC meeting January 13th at 9:02 a.m. Roll call, Sarah Foster is here. Tom Dunley is here. Teresa Hancock asked for an excuse absent. She is sick. Myself, I'm here. So we have quorum. Okay, active agenda, elect a vice chair. So I guess I didn't pay attention when this came out. I'm cool with electing a vice chair. And I was reading the RCW, we're not required to have a vice chair. And since the RCW, there's nothing on there. It mentions to go back to the city code. We don't have anything in the city code. But I'm all for it. You know, I've been sick all week. Luckily, I'm good to go now. But if I were sick, I would still want this meetings like this to continue. So we could go forward and elect the vice chair. Do we have any nominations?
Nominate Sierra. It's like one thing on your plate.
I feel like he's so.
First prize, 1 week in Philadelphia.
Can I nominate Tom? Can you explain a little bit more about the role and responsibility and the intent behind this agenda item?
To elect the vice chair, it's just to have somebody backup, just in case I'm not available for the meeting, and instead of rescheduling something, you know, our schedules are always so complicated. You would take over the meeting, or if like last night my voice was really bad, then you know we can let the vice chair take over the meeting.
Sure. So kind of just meeting facilitation and continuing items forward.
So-
Robert's rules and all that.
Mhm. So I'll second that nomination. Okay, we have a nomination by Tom Denley and a second by myself to elect Sierra Foster as the vice chair. Any debate? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. I also vote aye. Sierra Foster, you're the new vice chair.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
It's a paid position.
Great. And coffee.
Okay, item B, we're gonna skip. We don't have those ready, so we plan on having those for next meeting. Item C, review a request for funding from the city of Sunnyside for marketing plan. We have, and for the record, we have city manager Mike Gonzalez here, and he's also gonna present this item.
Thank you, board, and thank you, Chair. So hopefully we had a chance to look at this a little bit in your packet. And I presented this yesterday to the city council to approve moving forward. So we're looking for a request of $100,000 to help market events and just really various tourism activities around Sunnyside. And So there's the overarching plan that I've been working on. Just really identifying opportunities like agriculture. We certainly have a tourism appeal here that I don't think has been really, I don't know the right word, but leveraged correctly, maybe. You know, the with my media background, my vision really is to get more videos and really really nice content out there that focuses on our assets like food, hops, the wine industry, things like that, just so people know what exactly is happening in Sunnyside. So if you go through some of the marketing strategies that you know, one thing I'd like to talk to the board about is single point of contact, a unified public relations media manager. I'm envisioning Jackie would do a lot of that, you know, really enhance her role and be the point of contact with my management and us really sort of team up on that element and really leverage her skills, and she's wanting to do more of that. Really be more intentional about press releases, coordinating media interviews, and it's something that you know, sometimes it's an afterthought here, but we really have to be consistent in that. And I anticipate that we'd also work with some professional media companies to help us out with the content creation, because you know we won't have all the bandwidth to do videos and to edit and do those things. So you know, hence the dollar request. You know, so the traditional media outreach, that's some things that we've done in the past, which I think those are effective for what they are. But again, you know, we really need to get into the game of video and content creation and being more in the moment, I should say. You know, especially at the events, I think those are great opportunities that we've missed over the years to have videos and pictures during it, and leading up to it, and then during the events like Cinco de Mayo or the Implement Parade and things like that. So I think those are great opportunities. Then post-event, that's something we haven't done really either effectively, and I'm saying as a city, I'm not saying the LTAC board or anybody, but we as a city have not been effective. Some is lack of resources, some is just we haven't thought about it, and you know, we didn't have the in-house expertise or the desire. So I think we do now, and so I think there's that pre, that during, that post that we could really capitalize on. Yeah, because we haven't, you know, you look at Sunnyside, we have incredible culture. You know, that's something I really want to focus on is our food tourism. And we have some of the best Mexican restaurants in all the Pacific Northwest. So I was talking to the folks over at Yakima Valley Tourism, and so one thing we're going to work on hopefully is really like a nice taco map that's interactive, that people can go to and identify our restaurants, and within that have different content pieces, and you know, really become sort of the Hispanic food at the center of the Pacific Northwest, and gives people a reason to jump off the highway or come to Sunnyside, because right now, you know, we have like 3 or 4 signature events that you could come to Sunnyside for, but that there's not, you know, when I ask my friends in Tri-Cities, why would you come to Sunnyside? And they go, oh, there's that parade, Cinco de Mayo, and you know, I'm not sure what else is. So these type of things, I think food, you know, obviously hops and beer, why aren't we promoting varietal more? You know, why aren't we promoting winery? Why aren't we promoting snipes? I mean, these are all elements of tourism, you know, especially on the food side. We definitely have to revamp our website. That's something we've got to have a better online presence. And really, I'm all about the multifaceted approach, because I mean, we just have to we have to create better content. I mean, that's just it. You know, I come from the media background most of my career, and you know, people are watching these 1 minute videos of like, you know, here's this spot, or you know, the old traditional 10-minute video. You know, it's the kids, and I think all of us in general. I know I like to see. I get pulled. I don't know if you guys ever get pulled into the Instagram feeds with the funny videos, and you know, before you know it, you watch 10 of them. You're like, oh my god, I need to get a life. So you know, we need to start creating content like that, and on the back, it's really more of a broken out budget of what we do with the various buckets, from website development to digital marketing, advertising, public relations. And it's not to say that we'll hit exactly these numbers, but I wanted to give the board an idea that we would have a game plan, and we would have trackability, and we would have strategy. So again, we're kind of looking at food tourism being a big one. Obviously, the events are a huge one. And also, you know, destination marketing with some of our retailers too. I've been watching, you know, Roger. I just got turned on to the Roger Brooks video. He came up about 5 years ago, and I don't think we've implemented much of his suggestions. So there's still a lot of things. Pretty fascinating video. It's about 2.5 hours. I can send you guys if you haven't watched it. One thing that I'm recognizing that I think we could use some of these dollars to, wayfinding. I mean, he made a great point. I mean, and I can remember my first time driving into Sunnyside. It was nighttime. I was trying to get to Varietal, and I came in on the First Street exit side, and I'm weaving around, and I went up, you know, the fork, and you go through the hill, and I didn't go on Lincoln, and I'm like, where am I going, you know? And I would, so just, I mean, I think that is probably, it's not in the plan, but that's something we really need to do, is our wayfinding from both sides of the, even by your hotel. I mean, coming into town, there's not a lot of specific things. You don't know where downtown is. You don't have specific signs. So I mean, that's something that I'd like to incorporate into this as well. And I was talking to our public works department that they handle. They've actually built all our signs. It costs $30 for a pole. You know, another 15 for the lettering that they all put together, and then, you know, in our right of ways, we have the ability to do that. So that's something I'll be bringing to council, just to kind of get an idea of, you know, where do we need signs, and where can they go? And Jaime was telling me we could actually put some on our light poles. So it's pretty flexible where you could put them, but clearly, and some of our signs are really old and kind of outdated. So I think that would just spruce up the feel, and that's just sort of an old school thing. And I mean, we definitely. I was looking around downtown after I watched the video. We've got some dead signs. You know, that's something our code enforcement really needs to start enforcing, because, you know, we got these dead. You know, there's nothing in these old pole signs, and then the business doesn't have anything in there. I think some other elements coming out of that video, which I'm already working on. There's a group that wants to put a farmer's market every other Saturday when it warms up. So that could be another opportunity to kind of program downtown, from you know, just getting bodies to downtown perspective. So, you know, this money would give us the opportunity to really be intentional about marketing, and everybody knows I've got a marketing and media background, so I feel like it'll be a natural fit for me. And you know, and the thing I wanted to hear from the board was sort of, you know, you guys are in the community, you've been here a long time. What are the missing elements that you would like a marketing plan to entail? And, you know, from the hospital's perspective, because I look at the hospital as what an incredible asset we have. There's not one, there's just we have an H sign going hospital, you know, like, I mean, coming into town, it's like the home of that, we should have that, you know, we have a beautiful hotel. You know, so we have these assets that I just don't think that we're marketing effectively. We all know they're here, but you know, when you're driving on 82, you wouldn't know. And that's the one thing I have not explored is, I think in particular coming on, you know, when we're on 82, I'm assuming that the Department of Transportation controls on that. Could we have more signs? You know, that was one thing that he also mentioned in the video was like, I got a sign that says Sunnyside and then Outlook, you know, and the only sign we have coming in off First Street is Jack in the Box. I know we got more than Jack in the Box here, you know, like, come on. So some of those things, I mean, we could really leverage and if we put some effort into it.
It's like old style signs on Yakima Valley Highway, like when you're coming into town, from the west side of town there or whatever.
Yeah.
Those are just kind of outdated.
Yeah.
There's, for a while there, it still said Kiwanis, and I don't know when the last time like Kiwanis was around here, and it said like
Interesting, yeah.
Rotary was meeting at the hospital, which it is now, but this was back when we were meeting at the school district. So, you know, maybe just even simple things like updating that
Yeah,
weird fence sign that most cities have, but it just maybe with new information.
and that's something.
But then I agree with the highway signs. You
Yeah.
drive through Sunnyside, not even realizing you went through Sunnyside.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, especially if you're coming from Yakima. You kind of, you see the Outlook sign and then you sort of, you know, you weave. It's interesting, but you know, you just kind of whiz right by Sunnyside, and especially at night.
I think when you're coming from Sunnyside, they consider that Outlook, Sunnyside exit too.
Right.
So if you have people from Seattle coming into Sunnyside, like, that's Sunnyside, like.
Yeah, like a nice-
That's the
super
first
confusing.
impression, right,
Yeah.
of Sunnyside, a dairy there and everything else is.
You almost could have a nice, some sort of, on your point of wayfinding, some nice signage at that exit, knowing that Sunnyside is this way. And
Right.
these are the things that are
Right.
that way. So
I
when you get to that dairy intersection, you're not like, where am I?
Where am I?
Where am I going?
If you turn back,
Let's go further.
Because I mean, it'd be great to have a sign like, you know, Astor Hospital this way, you know, just that like our signature things, because a lot of people, you know, living in Tri-Cities, I talk often, you know, just varies, oh, where you at now? Oh, Sunnyside, oh, what's there, you know, and I was like, man, we have a hospital, we have all these things, oh, really? And you know, a lot of people, I post a lot on my LinkedIn page, and you know, a lot of people are like, wow, there's a lot more going on in Sunnyside than I would have ever imagined. So I think some of those things are just, you know, consistently being able to pump those out, and I would do it myself, but it's, you know, my bandwidth is thin, so that's where we need experts to help us with that, and I really think there's some great opportunities, and the wayfinding is one I didn't even think about till Perla said, hey, you gotta watch this Roger Brooks video, and because, you know, it's kind of like, we haven't really done anything that he suggested, but the suggestions are still great, right? So, and it was a great video. I'll send you guys.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch it. I think I watched the first 15 minutes during the
Yeah.
campaign, and I just never got back to watching
Yeah.
the video.
Well, he's got a lot of good tips. Kind of towards the end, you know, he starts throwing out, well, we should do this, and you know, you can only do so many things, right? He's like a zip line, you know, bring ping pong tables, you know, and put them in. I mean, some of these things he started just throwing stuff against the wall, but the front of the video I think is really good, like his, you know, true perception, because this man's been to like literally hundreds of towns as a consultant, and you know, I think some of the basics that he's, I mean, the wayfinding, I think for us is such an easy win. I mean, even, and just, you know, I was going around with Jaime yesterday. And it's like the first thing I did, and it's kind of my fault as the administrator. I've been looking at graffiti on the community center park sign for, you know, almost a year now. And I goes, Jaime, can you take the graffiti off there? He goes, oh yeah, sure. So we cleaned the sign off yesterday. Looks beautiful. But you know, it's things like that. We all kind of, you know, we're just in this mode. And then we're looking at the visitor, or you know, when you come off first, visitor information. So, well, the welcome to, and I go, Jaime, where's the visitor information center? He goes, oh, Mike, it's on the back, bro. I'm like, so that's the visitor information? So it's so misleading, and it's become the fabric. So I always thought we had a visitor information, like, is it is it an Eagles or is it at the, or is that the, so that really needs to be taken off or say, the visitor information in the back. Because I think coming into town, your first perception is
QR code.
Right, there you go, QR code,
And
yeah,
here, just
great idea.
this, and that's a low budget.
And I think something too that he mentioned, which is so true, coming off again that First Street exit, when you're coming into town, you see big industrial. And maybe we need to set it up as, hey, welcome to the port of Sunnyside. We feed the world. At least people would get it. Like, okay, this isn't,
Your food starts here.
Right, yeah, something where, give us a little grace, when you're coming into town. Because, your first perception coming into Sunnyside off that exit is like, oh man, this looks like, a Bruce Springsteen song with, working in the.
Well, I think we have a lot of opportunity right there with the exit, because you're coming off and the tee's off.
Oh, yeah.
There's a blank area there, but we could put some signage like you said there, okay? Granted, Derigo doesn't have their visitor
Right.
tours anymore, but point them this way towards, with the arrows,
Yeah.
hey, Varietal that way,
Absolutely.
so and so that way. And I think we just need to get once we get the people off the freeway,
Absolutely.
they're gonna come off the freeway to pump gas, right? But if they see something that's of interest in that sign, oh, let's go grab a burger here, let's go there. It's keeping it something.
Part of what makes America great.
Right, yeah.
It's jobs.
Yeah.
It's something that we need. We extrude pipe here.
Mhm.
Where they get used, you threw down the field, what's out in the field, your dinner.
Absolutely.
So
I think those kind of things, just, taking what we are and being proud of it and leveraging and say, this is who we are. And he made a good point too. We take for granted, we have this amazing park with a pool. And so the pool's gonna open now, fortunately.
I watched a video a long time ago and I seem to remember him saying that you want to create some kind of a downtown farmers market type of.
Yeah, and that's a big thing is.
We were in Olympia and they offered us money to upgrade our gazebo downtown. We weren't even asking for it.
Yeah, so they're
legislators, they know about the Cinco de Mayo event, and I forget his name.
Oh, yeah.
Tall, skinny guy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, he was really impressed with the Cinco de Mayo, and he said, you know what? We have some extra money. What can you use $100,000 and improve your casino?
Okay, so let's get to the next part of the meeting that I have, I'm just bursting with. I've wanted to talk about this for a long time.
This is it. The few questions I have, Mike, is with so much other stuff on your plate, how effective do you see this plan develop?
I really think the reality is we're gonna have to find a couple of different companies or one, it just really depends the direction the board would want me to go in the council. We can go a couple ways. You can piecemeal projects with, various companies. Or you can find one that, you could put out an RFP and say, hey, we're looking for a company that can help us develop these strategies.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple ways to do it, I've done them both ways. If you find a good company that's able to work with you, execute your vision, works well and delivers the products on time, that's sort of all encompassing. You could get a good deal without having to spend all that, the entire bucket of money. And then it's just consistent. They work as a PR, you're basically your marketing agency and you direct them. Or, you can find, various individuals across the valley that do videos and you say, hey, Bill, can you do this, this plan? typically those are service agreements, so you don't have to necessarily RFP them.
Mhm.
You know, if you find good people you like to work with, I mean, that's always an effective strategy. So I've always been pretty good at delegating those things. I did it at Franklin PDD, Pasco, and also we were doing quite a bit of marketing, believe it or not, at Franklin County. So, at Franklin County, we paid a set fee of like, I think we were paying like $3,000 a month, and we were doing various videos across the county. Pasco was more piecemeal, and when I was at Franklin, it was more, we just hired out as needed because we weren't creating as much content. I was doing a lot of this stuff myself.
So this wouldn't like create any jobs here at the city, it would only be like contracting out.
Yeah, I mean, I guess theoretically we could, hire individuals. I mean, I've had people that have come to me and said, hey, I can write, I can write for you, and they live in town. But I don't know if the intent of this money is to create jobs within the city. I mean, I think inadvertently, I mean, it would create people coming to town, give them reasons, from a marketing perspective.
I think if you market this right and you're online marketing, advertising, I want to be able to go on Google, type in Sunnyside,
Yeah.
Cinco de Mayo, right? The first thing that pops up, not a shooting that happened.
Yeah.
And I think with the more we advertise, the more we have positive things out there for Sunnyside, that's what changes the algorithm.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. And it's, it's content, it's writing, it's those, and that's going to take, experts to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was just the PR guy, I'd be doing it all day long, I mean, for me, it's pretty easy. But we're definitely gonna need some help. Jackie's gonna need some help because we're a small city and we all wear multiple hats. So we're definitely gonna need some outside help. But
No, it is, and you will need it because even with my business, it was hard because they were trying to train me how to do
Right.
this, and you have to use the whatever words, you have to
Yeah.
make up a list, and if somebody searches that word, it's gonna direct them to your website.
Yeah.
So it's
pretty complex. Yeah, it does get pretty complex. So hopefully. Hopefully it does create jobs sort of, inadvertently by more people coming to town and just really knowing who we are and what we're about and get to know us a little bit better, kind of rebrand us. And that's really my goal, because that's half the battle that I'm finding, living outside of, still living in West Pasco and, still talking to friends and colleagues and, around the state. We're known for dairy, everybody kind of knows us for dairy. And I think in politics, people know us for Van Newhouse, and, they kind of know we grow hops around here, so there's, but within a lot of people know about Cinco de Mayo and Implement Parade. So those are kind of the what people know us for in particular.
Well, and the negative stuff.
Yeah, and that's
To your
true.
point, like that's what people recognize
Yeah,
us for,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
I agree with your point that all of this will help dilute that.
So I see the $15,000 website development and maintenance. Is this to purchase over the previous website that we had?
Yeah, and my idea is to create a Sunnyside marketing website that we can control and upload content to, because right now we're a little bit hamstrung with the way Yakima Valley Tourism's doing it. It's sort of like they still own it, we send them
It's in
stuff.
limbo kind of?
Yeah.
So I've asked them specifically who owns it, and they said we own it. So you should be able to just say, give it to me.
Yeah, that's where my perception has been.
Because I would rather see us get that website since it's already there and just kind of design whatever we need to do to it, and fresh pictures.
Yeah, and my perception has always been that they kind of own that space, and regardless of what they own or not, whether we call it Sunnyside marketing, whatever, I think we just start from scratch and take the one thing we do own is the pictures and everything that they've created and they give to us, and just, you know, have a company say, look, we give them the content that we currently have and say, look, we're starting from scratch, build us something that's user friendly, that's good in the algorithms, that's easy for us to upload to as well. And so that's kind of my intent there, is just to, you know,
Is that
really be able to be
a
independent.
sufficient amount of money? Because I've seen proposals from companies to develop websites that mean 5,000 to 50,000.
Yeah, it really varies. And I think if you over my time, if you give them the parameters, if you don't give them the parameters, they'll create you the Ferrari that you don't need.
Nowadays, it's so easy to create a website with AI. You type what you want, boom, 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 and you're the pictures, and it's So I mean, I could believe the 15,000.
Real snappy. Didn't take a long time to load. And
yeah, I think it just has to be really user friendly. You know, accessible from your phone. If you were at an event, you know, making sure that we could upload pictures and quick videos to it. So I mean, there's certain parameters that I want to have, but to Deputy Mayor's point, you know, the old school, like, you know, creating the HTML and all.
Oh man,
it's kind of, you know, it's sort of evolved. So I've been looking around, and I mean, it shouldn't cost more than 15, and I'm hoping it's less than that actually, which I think it will be.
you're saying you're not, all you look for is the photography and the video from Yakima Valley Tourism. You wouldn't look for the architecture of the existing.
Right, you know, we might keep some of the same look and feel, and you know that
They've done branding too. Do you want to keep that branding?
Well, and I know Jackie wants to keep the branding, which I like the branding of it.
Come to the sun, basically.
Yeah, no, and I like that, and unless we come up with a, you know, a better, you know, I've gotten a little bit of feedback from various marketing people I know. Some people have come to us, what does that mean? You know, like really, like what is that? You know, what can we do something that sounds better than that, or connotates like this is what we're about? You know, we were kicking around some ideas, and it's like, you know, come to Sunnyside, we feed the world. You know, something like that. You know, more that is in line with what we do here. You know, because come to the sun, like. Is it really any sunnier than?
Well, I mean, doesn't it get like so many days of sunshine, like one of the most in the state or something like that? That's what I was at least told when I first came here.
300 days and
It's like gets the most sun.
Yeah, well, it's funny that video.
Don't count on the commercial.
Well, that video, he discusses that. He said, you know, he started talking about come to the sun, and you guys have 300 days of sunshine, and so that was made up by the person from the Tri-Cities Destination Marketing, and how that came about was they just looked outside and they did it for a year. If the sun came out for even 1 minute, then that was the sun. So I think realistically, right? I think realistically,
I think it's each person.
So according to Roger Brooks, Eastern Washington, most places have about 200 days of sun, you know, varying degrees. The Seattle area has 70. So we really don't have 300 days of sun, but it was a good marketing ploy.
I think that like slogan and tagline might not work for people in the Tri-Cities, right? They have similar climates. It's more so for attracting West Siders. Because just anywhere in the lower valley is way different in the summer than their summers.
No, and I like it.
And even in the winter.
I think I'm tired of the rain.
No, I mean, come to the sun is I think it's a nice. It feels good, you know. It's not.
So I think if we, and I hate to suggest jumping, but one of these agenda items is basically discussing a kind of a strategic vision for Sunnyside.
Sure.
I think if you can coalesce a strategic vision, your branding will come out of it because it will define who we are.
Right. Yeah.
And so I have some questions on this too. My question is basically, you're missing $10,000. You put 90 out of 100. Is that 10 just a slush fund that you use for other things?
Pretty good, I didn't catch that.
Honestly. Yeah, honestly, yeah, I missed that, forgive me, and maybe there might be a missing page on this. I think there's actually a page.
So you think there's one more, like
Yeah.
number 7?
Yeah, I think there is a number 7, I don't think it made it on there. For whatever reason. No, but that,
What we can do, and then it gives Mike some time to find that the page, we could continue to the next active agenda item, and then come back to the.
Yeah,
I think it will, yeah, if we go down that road.
Yeah, so let's go on to item D, developing an outside strategic plan. Let's get that started. I know, Tom, this is something that you've been wanting to talk and I'll talk about, and I'm gonna let you start.
Okay, I think Sunnyside, I'm just gonna start dumping some thoughts. These are thoughts that I've coalesced through the years. But Sunnyside has a lot of potential that has never been properly unlocked. You pointed to one of them indirectly, but Sunnyside's culture is a mix. It's a mix of Hispanic and Dutch. And, you know, you have the Dutch and the dairies. There's some advantages to the dairies. If you take the food theme, you can do ice cream contests, you can do cheese, you can do all kinds of stuff. You can promote that. On the Hispanic side, again, you have the food and you have a vibrant culture that Sunnyside needs to embrace instead of fight.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why they fight it, but they do. At some level, you know, the Dutch need the Hispanics need the Dutch. We need to stay together. But for some reason, there's a tension that needs to go away. And how that happens, it could happen in the tourism arena very easily. But you can take the food and you can blow that up into events. There's a Fiery Foods Festival down in Pasco, but you can do something similar. Maybe put a different spin on it so that you're not stealing from Pasco's thunder. There are opportunities to bring in celebrity chefs, and I think that Bobby Flay, who does the throwdown, you've got somebody here. You can go to Union Gap and Los Hernandez Tamales. They have won all kinds of awards, Jamie Beer Awards. And I've suggested to Eric Patrick, who's the PR guy for Union Gap, to get Bobby Flay and have him come do a throwdown with them. But you can do the same thing here. You can bring Rachel Ray, you can all these people, you have to get a hold of them. You gotta say, here's what we've got going on. We'd like you to come and participate in this. So you have, and what you want to do is you want to look at the assets that Sunnyside has, and give it a competitive advantage over the other communities in this area, and frankly, the rest of Eastern Washington, because people have choices. You've got asparagus. Not too many communities have asparagus. And you can celebrate the living daylights out of that. You can put asparagus. You can have,
yeah, I love that.
You have, like I said, you've got the dairies and ice cream.
Asparagus festival somewhere.
There was.
I was gonna ask them.
There's an asparagus festival in Union Gap, and you know, they're kind of reaching. You should have it here.
No, I love that. That's great.
You have, and you have an asset that exists no place else outside of Washington DC, over on what street is that, where all the granite blocks are. The
Veterans Plaza?
Oh, yeah. And you could create events around that, because I've said to the VFW.
Patriotic events.
Yeah, we'll continue to fund that, but you need to generate room nights, and here's how you generate room nights: create an event, create a Labor Day, or excuse me, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, Pearl Harbor Day, and make it big. It doesn't need to be small. It's not just 4 guys with a flag and pop guns. It's talk to the Armory in Grandview, have them bring a regiment over, call the Oregon National Guard, have them do a flyover. You can put this together. It's not that hard. Somebody just has to have some vision. And Jim Restucci, I don't know if he's still around.
Yeah, Jim's still.
His wife, I think, is a sergeant in arms over at the VFW. And we talked about this, and they were like, yeah, that's a good idea, but no one ever moved on it. But you could put events together. Think about all those.
You know what someone was telling me something, I can't remember who it was. Why don't we do, like, for to your point with the Veterans Plaza, like each big veterans holiday have like a run. You know, you do these runs,
Yeah.
everybody loves a run, you do a 5K.
You can do I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff.
The thing is though, this group isn't the ones that are running it, and so we have to identify a way to inspire those other. Like the actual doers
Mhm.
to get up and do this, and so how do we do that?
It's
How do we, you know, those people you just mentioned at the VFW, how do we inspire them to do this type of event?
You have to have a local champion, somebody who's really into it. And so you gotta search through the VFW, maybe it's not a Sergeant Project, but somebody who wants to promote the military. They enjoyed the time they spent in the military, they're proud of the service. And they want to promote it, they want people to see it. And if you can find that one person, you can tell that person, we've got resources that we can back you with. And they can go. You have a run, typically it's because you have somebody who's running, who puts together the run. But if you think about, say, these veterans events, Vietnam veterans, a lot of them have motorcycles. So you could do a motorcycle rally in November here,
Yeah.
but put together something that is not just the event there, maybe it's a 2 or 3 hour event, by the time all is said and done, there's a, what do they call them, a poker run up on the 47 Hill with the motorcycles.
That's right.
So, and you give a nice barbecue dinner the night before, or some kind of, so you have to put together something that gets them to come to town and stay in town overnight. But it grows on itself, it's kind of like Sturgis. If you can get it started, it's attractive enough, it grows on itself. The Cinco de Mayo, I would love to talk to the history teacher at the high school. I would like to say, do you really know what happened? The Battle of Puebla? Does anybody really know what happened? And a bunch of disorganized Indians, they defeated the French Foreign Legion. That was the finest army in the world. Why don't we reenact that?
Yeah.
Black powder? Yeah, it smells. I mean, I love the smell. But you could reenact that. The $100,000, you could buy uniforms, you could do all kinds of stuff with it. Get the kids involved, get the high school students involved. Here's living history for you. This is what happened. And people will come to see that. They come to see the Civil War enactments in Union Gap. They actually do 3 of them over 3 days. People come to watch it. You can do the same thing here. There's a lot of ways to take what we have that nobody else has and blow it up into something people want to see. But you have to have a history teacher at the high school who was into this and wanted the students, this class. This is fun. This is what happened, and then here's what happened because of it. You know, they still had 5 years of Maximilian in Mexico City. That was a tipping point. He was on his way out after that. But you gotta
got a history lesson.
Yeah, you gotta get the information out there so that people learn about it and they're interested in it. You have with the culture here, Sunshine Days. And I talked to the people at Antiques too. Antique was any car that was never sold. You could polish it up and bring it or not, just bring it and show it. And I said, your group is dying because a lot of people who do that are getting old and they're dying. What are you doing to rejuvenate it? I said, talk to them. Folks, talk to the Hispanic community, have them bring the lowriders in. Because there's some, pretty souped up stuff there.
Yeah.
People have done some neat things. And bring it in. Don't say that's not us. That's us. Bring it in. You have a showing time with the Sunshine Days. And then I'll put it on the back yard of the hotel. It's a nice place for it. So I'm just hopping around here. Bonnie Dunbar is from Outlook. I think you have a statue over here somewhere.
Yeah, over by the,
Yeah, about the car.
But I think you could blow that up a little bit. She's a woman. She was in outer space. I mean, there's all kinds of things. She's a scientist, things that are important.
Is she still in?
She's still like that.
Maybe invite her, right?
She would,
Texas is what I'm told.
but I think she would support. I think she would support if you asked her. You have churches here. And they can do events as well. They can do Pentecostal events, they can do marriage events, they all can do all sorts of stuff.
I mean, all your ideas are phenomenal, they're great, but we have to identify a way that LTAC can influence and drive some of these ideas to fruition. And so what are some strategic elements on how can we do that, especially when we have this request for proposal process that is very cumbersome and limited to only one time a year. So even if we were to encourage someone to create a Veterans Day event, and we're saying we have funding available, but our funding cycle is actually closed. How do you, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out how we create action from all the things you're suggesting.
I would break that one time a year thing, and I would say, we're gonna open it up, and people can submit proposals anytime they want. We will have the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee look at them as they're able. And if there's timing associated with it, we can try to make something happen, we can't guarantee it. But what you wanna do is you wanna make it
Easier to access.
make it easy for the customer to buy. That was a retail law. Make it easy for the organizer to put it together. Don't say you gotta go through this whole review at this point in time. Here, we want you to come. I want you to be here. You're staying here. There are some parameters you need to stay within. But here's a way for you to move forward instead of wait right now.
Well, and I think one thing we could do within the structure of our marketing plan is we're gonna market all the events that are LTAC associated anyway, so I think there's a way that if, hey, we're having an asparagus festival, or, and I love having our own version of, why aren't we having a taco fest here, I mean,
We did taco awards here.
Yeah.
I mean, why? I mean, we're like the mecca of tacos, and I was in Yakima not too long ago. They're like, we're having our taco festival, and they have it, I think, the same time as Cinco de Mayo. So some of these things are just a natural fit. They're easy marketing. They're marketable, and we could definitely help out with that. I mean, leading up to the events, especially. So I think there's synergy there. It's just, to Sierra's point, it always takes a champion to do, it's always, when the ideas are awesome, and who champions them is really always becomes the question.
Yeah, and I know that, I'm sorry, I know that some of these groups, a lot of things changed during the COVID pandemic, and so I know a lot of these groups are struggling to retain members and to get more engaged newer members, and it's not just maybe it's me projecting my struggles with our noon Rotary and the lack of membership, but I think everyone experienced that huge drop off during COVID and then not people returning, and so it's a great opportunity, but it is hard to find those people. And so,
because here's something we could do too with in the scope of the marketing plan. If we were to hire an agency, that could be one of their scopes is, okay, you're gonna put together the Fiery Foods Festival, the Taco Wars, and the Asparagus Festival, and all the veterans runs and motorcycle. That could be part of what they develop too. I mean, I've seen that. So I mean that's that again, if you invest the LTAC dollars and you invest it into experts that are focused on these kind of endeavors, we provide the ideas, and then look, it's your guys' job to execute, and even you could you can incentivize it for them to sell ad space digitally or at the event themselves. So I mean, I think there's ways.
You have some champions already. The folks who are putting on that Ale Fest. That's something you can get behind and blow up. The guy who's doing your AAU, he's a champion.
Yeah, I mean,
Blow that up. I hate to think that Cinco de Mayo, somebody's just doing it because it's a signature.
no, I mean, our Rotary Club is very excited about it. It's just, it is, we took it on though, because it was being, we took it on only 1 year ago, so this will be our second year doing it. So.
Well, and the people who did it before, I think, did it with an eye to make some money. So they paid attention to bringing in the bands, which brought the people, which patronize the vendors, and they get that that even dead, but then it also paid. But if it's just a commercially themed event, you're missing something. That's not going to bring in tourists. you've got to bring, there's gotta be what I call either edutainment, education, entertainment. There's gotta be some reason why somebody's gonna turn aside from their regular life and stop and see what's going on here. That's different. We've seen that before. That's what we need to do.
So, going back just slightly, can we have like open submissions for LTAC funding? Do you know how that's?
I really
'Cause I don't know
love,
what the structures are and what we're
I
allowed
really
to.
love that idea, and a lot of cities do that, they keep it open like that. So it's not something that we're gonna be doing something new, right? I think it's just within the LTAC board, we just need to sit down and decide if that's something that we wanna do. I support it completely. I would wanna see it start in 2026, because obviously 2025, we already did the events or whatever. But one of the ideas bouncing in my head is maybe in the next month or two, we have another meeting like this. Obviously, we want to have, as much as we can. But have at least one representative from each of these different organizations come to the table, so they could hear, your ideas, our ideas of what we envision LTAC might need to be used for. What we want to see contests, right? I don't see why Cinco de Mayo would be perfect to do a food contest there. A gazebo, right? Just get to work and whatever price, but have everybody that's invested in wanting to bring an event like this in the next 2 months, so they can hear us out, and then that way in 2026, maybe it starts clicking. Okay, this is what the LTAC board wants to see going forward. We need to start really investing in how to bring more people into Sunnyside. Tom, your ideas were great. You're right on point. Unfortunately, we can't make you the point, man, because I'm pretty sure you have a full schedule, full plate. But I think if we bring everybody to the table and maybe even in the business advisory meetings that you're having on a monthly basis, start announcing, hey, this is the LTAC plan. This is what we want to see, and encourage other people. Hey, I want to bring a menudo contest, right? Okay. A mile contest, right? Ice cream making contest, like you said.
I agree. I mean, I really think that's a really good strategy. I mean, I also think the more I'm thinking about it, we really need to make the scope of it an RFP to be encompassing somebody that can execute these event driven, type of activities. So, because we're gonna, we can only use Rotary so much, and it's. So I feel like, hey,
where we meet? Gonna be meeting?
We'll be actually, I don't know. So let me find out.
Oh, never mind. They're important.
You got it. Okay, gotcha. It's gonna take some expertise. It's gonna take some good marketing leading up.
So you're thinking that the city could be the point if we go.
I really think that if I'm working with a marketing company, or it could be multiple marketing, it doesn't have to be one.
Yeah.
So that each event that we decide, we're gonna have to have somebody that we're using within this marketing bucket to say, look, let's execute the vision on the Asparagus Festival, or here's the marketing plan for Cinco de Mayo. And my preference would be to have one and RFP that out, and just have one company that we decide to say, okay, you're our company. Here's our signatures. Here's the other buckets of vision that we have as an LTAC board. Food, events, and how can you help us execute these marketing strategies? Because it's going to be really, because I think that company can work with whoever that champion is and supplement their efforts, because how it is, all of us work, and
Yeah.
You know, you could, the champion in that space can help the marketing company understand what it is that, you know, that needs to be executed, and they could.
And that champion being someone here locally.
Exactly, you know, and then the city kind of being the glue that's like, you know, and the LTAC board driving the bus on the accountability piece. So that's how I see it working most effectively.
Okay.
So can I suggest that we just take a few minutes, sounds like you've got another meeting here, we just take a few minutes and talk about the, if you will, the brand or the image or whatever we have for Sunnyside right now, which is come to the sun. And if we have an idea of what we think Sunnyside should be.
And I've got my chums that they're doing some CBA stuff that I'm not involved in.
I mean, it's almost an hour. I have time. Do you guys have
Yeah.
time?
I have a little bit more time.
I have until 10:30,
I was gonna
which
say,
is
yeah,
what was
yeah,
like.
10:30.
Okay,
so
perfect.
that's what I-
Yeah, I'm good. So,
So some of the thoughts that I have, and these are big picture, and they have to be drilled down on, but like the soul of America, culture, food, because people need to eat, people need to live together, we have faith here. If there were somehow that woven in to who Sunnyside is, that might actually bring us together.
Well, and it might, I don't know if you've considered like some sort of community work group to help us develop what that community vision would look like for our marketing website. Because it might be good to get community members' input on what they feel is valued assets in the community to highlight. Because, you know, we're representatives in the community, but sometimes you don't think of things. And
yeah, no, I think it would be good to do some outreach. I mean, I really like Soul of America because you could, and I don't know if you were thinking like Sun, Soul, SOL.
oh,
I mean,
there you go.
I mean, I was like,
Or
oh,
Hispa-
that's
Were you that
that's
clever?
brilliant. Were you that
Yeah.
clever, or was it
I just gave it a seed.
like, cause I'm thinking Soul,
Yeah.
the Sun.
Yeah, that's.
SOL
nice.
of America, that's brilliant, you know, even if it was inadvertent, it was, but the Sun, so that's good. And I've always really, I mean, the media was asking me something when ICE came to town, you know, like, what's Sunnyside about? I said, you know, and I said something off the cuff, like, you know, Sunnyside feeds the world, you know, that's my perception of Sunnyside, is we have all these different elements of, you know, dairies, hop farms, apples, cherry, you know, all these different things that, and, you know, all these people come together, whether you're Hispanic, Dutch, you know, whatever else, we really do feed the world. But I love that, because we really are like the soul of America in a way.
We're the fabric.
We have all these things, you know.
And we need to recognize it ourselves. Once we recognize it ourselves and we start to celebrate it, then you'll see things really take off.
Yeah. I
Instead of
agree.
people saying in downtown, it shouldn't have this, you know, it should look like that. Okay, put some signage, it's in there.
Yeah, and one of my ideas too, I was kicking around with somebody was, you know, and we were kind of getting to this in downtown Pasco. It already had a high Hispanic population, the businesses, and it was sort of morphing into a very Hispanic feel with the tapestry. And, you know, could you call it, you know, this is the Latin business district? I don't know, but I think sometimes people get like, oh my God, we don't want to brand ourselves out, you know, and it's like, that's what's here, you know, we've got a great Mexican population. Why don't we call this Little Mexico? Like you know, and I come from Miami where one of the most popular spots in all of Miami is called Little Havana. No one's offended by that, because you know, when you go to Little Havana on Calle Ocho, you're gonna get great Cuban food, you're gonna go get some coffee, you're gonna play some dominoes, you're gonna watch the guys there. Like, you know what you're gonna get, like, you know.
Italy and New York, Chinatown, I mean, same thing.
Why don't we call, I mean, Little Mexico, why not? You know, you're gonna get great Mexican food. We know that we have a plaza, you know, that's something Roger Brooks said. You know, we could really program our gazebo as a plaza. We know the Hispanic culture loves plazas. We could have a farmer's market there every Saturday. I mean, these are like programming items that we can put into place, and kind of leverage what we, I think our number one asset, to Tom's point, is like our culture is, and, and the other elements.
So
So
we have don't we have a sister city in Mexico? I remember what.
Yeah, we do. I'm trying to remember the name.
Is it Morelia?
Yeah, you're right.
For some reason then Morelia's in my head, but maybe.
a little more, I mean, it's something, just something, if we could get community support and, because even if you call it an international district like Seattle, I mean, something that's more encompassing, I guess, because, but I think that's one thing people do know us for on the outside is, we have a highly Hispanic population. I mean,
So I'm a gringo. I speak from Spanish. And you wouldn't guess it. I'm looking at it.
No.
And that has helped me mix easily wherever I am in a Hispanic community, whether it's here or it's in Nicaragua. Right? The language is, and here we've got English. It's
So it's yeah. Well, we have this other item, defining tourism marketing goals. I mean, we kind of talked about that already, unless somebody wants to add, perhaps anything to add to that item.
I mean, I think,
We've been.
yeah, from my perspective, it's like, multiple things. It's got to be, we have to be much more consistent. Definitely, video friendly, because that's what's out there now. That's going to really promote your city, your brand. And I'm really convinced that we are going to need experts to help us. But I do believe the city should drive the bus on it. Yeah, and I, not to toot my own horn, I think, I've done it over the years, and I'm probably, like I said at the council meeting, there's probably not too many city managers that came from the media and into government. So I have a unique perspective on that, and so I think with city guidance and then LTAC accountability, it all works together. Of course, I'll be reporting back to the LTAC board of like what strategies are working, what's not, and maybe I would like the LTAC board to maybe meet every other month, a little bit more consistently. So because I feel like we have a good group here that really wants to see the city have a better identity and, leverage our cultural aspects. So I do feel like we have a good group here that, that's engaged and, not just rubber stamping things, but
we do have a good group and we need to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So going back to item C, the city is requesting funding for $100,000 for their marketing plan. Do we have any questions before we bring it up to a vote? Any further questions on this?
so just, well, I don't know if you have.
Yeah, sorry, after we completed the previous round of RFPs, what was the remaining balance? I don't recall, and I'm sorry, I don't have my notes with me, so that.
Yeah, we have our balance right now is around $300,000.
Even after we account for the ones,
We had quite a bit, and
we distributed.
And it was because of the savings towards the convention center, which is why the bucket's so big, which I couldn't remember. I thought we had unraveled that, or was I imagining that at a council meeting?
No, we unraveled it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah.
We got approved, so we could.
Okay, yeah.
But what I wouldn't want to see those funds just kind of nickel and dime.
Yeah.
I would want to sit down at a future LTAC meeting and say, okay, what's a realistic idea that we can use some of those funds for?
And if we don't have a realistic idea, keep them in the war chest. Rather than just saying, well, we have no money, we need this.
Yeah, exactly.
I have been in meetings with people like that, and I've said, that is not good.
I agree. Just giving money for the sake of giving it. And if we don't spend this, my understanding is the fund balance can go to the next year.
Mhm.
So we can continue to have the marketing budget. And that's something I don't plan to, I got 100,000, let's just spend it all for the sake of spending. Like I want to be really strategic with it and, make sure that we are producing good content and, it's in alignment with the events and because we know we have our signatures that will definitely help market. It's just really filling in the gaps. And I mean, I think we already have some good ideas with, some food events. I mean, I love food events. I was involved in, helping with the Fire Foods Festival in Pasco a couple of years. And it's amazing. It's a simple event too. You get a few folks from the community to be judges and, you start just, and then you have food vendors and you keep it kind of simple and
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see the taco wars coming.
Yeah, no, I mean,
they can't use the name,
yeah, but we could do something, I mean, I love the idea of having the Battle of Puebla. That would be really,
That would be something, no one has ever done it, and I know it.
that would be pretty cool.
all right, board members, so,
Did you have another question? I'll take-
Yeah, like, I was just gonna review the scope with the 100,000. Basically, you're gonna start from scratch with a website, you're gonna build that website to promote the existing signature events. And I'm assuming with the ability to add to it things that develop
Yes.
over time. We still, for branding on the website, you're gonna go with the logo that you have right now and do the sign, or you're gonna say we're gonna start developing the website?
Yeah, well, and I wanted to get the board's take on that too. I don't want to. As Sierra mentioned it, you don't want to like, hey, we rebranded who Mike did, I don't want to get in that position either. So, it's like, who rebranded that? Oh, Mike decided that, but I want it to be a collective community effort, but I do think the best bet is to stick with, come to the sun. I think it's a nice slogan. I think people recognize us for that. But I think we you guys as the board kind of maybe drive the bus on community outreach and, get some input on.
Well, I
What
think
else
you
are we
can
known
maintain
for?
the current, but then slowly pepper in like these
Yeah.
new concepts and see
Yeah.
what really takes off and what resonates with people.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea.
Because you don't have to make like an official rebranding, you can kind of slowly
Yeah.
integrate, different color schemes or different logos and see how people respond.
Yeah, because I love Soul of America. We did, that was Soul of America. I mean, that would be great.
And then
stuff
before
like-
you know it, if you get something that
Yeah.
takes off, you can just be like, man, everyone loves this, we just wanna make this more our official thing or.
Yeah, no, I think for now we keep, our current branding. Cause it's nice and really clean looking. And so, some of these numbers, they're flexible. I don't want to give the impression that, it's gonna be absolutely, I mean, there might be some flexibility within it. I'm hoping that the website doesn't cost 15,000. Because as Deputy Mayor mentioned with AI and things like that, but I wanted to give it a robust enough number to where we're definitely gonna get a solid, good looking website that's really easy to use, that incorporates an app, that we can upload on our phone, so it's not so clunky. Cause I use GoDaddy on some blogs that I use, but I make them myself, but they're a little clunky because they're they're just plug and play website, but we're gonna need a little bit more advanced in that, like a GoDaddy site costs me $15 a month, and you get the template, but we're gonna need something a little bit better than that for sure. Digital marketing, that's something I really want to focus on, and Deputy Mayor mentioned it. We're gonna have to be much more intentional, like our Google ad space, hitting our cell phones. So when, people Google or do different things, even go to the AI platforms that the right things are coming up. The public relations media outreach, that's flexible and some of that is really in-house and just, it's our own time. So that's a bucket I don't anticipate we'll probably spend that much. video content creation, that's gonna be king.
And, you know,
Yeah,
I think that's like,
yeah, and I think we could probably take some of the website development and public relations outreach and
Just
increase that.
if you go like the TikTok route though, I mean, you can make a lot of really cheap videos, if you do it just like on your mobile phone for TikTok stuff, but then having these higher level, higher quality videos that you can like,
Right.
take pieces of and utilize in lots of different things, but anyways, yeah, it's probably low. I think all of this is low, but that's because
Yeah,
I know marketing, like you can spend so much money or you
Yeah,
can spend so little. I've
and
done
that-
a little bit of both, so.
I know, and that's what I wanted to try to give it like a balanced approach because it's like anything else. If you go all in one space, you're like, oh, I just spent all my money. We could spend $100,000 on a website and we're like, okay, we got a great website and nothing to put on it. So I do anticipate there'll be some flex in these but I wanted to give kind of a template of how I intend to manage, like, okay, this is what we're doing here. So I could show the board, okay, we've done this in digital marketing, we've done this, and that's something I want to be able to do too, is bring the board every couple months. Hey, we reached this many people, because that's something that I haven't been able to tell council either is, our website, how many people are coming? Sure, I don't know. What has been the footprint of Facebook, we can do it, but our website, and we haven't, and it'd be nice to say, hey, we made this video for Synchrony Mile and it reached, 1 million people. Because I've had those kind of videos that just take off, and on my old food blog, and you're like, wow, I can't really reach so many people.
Well, I'm getting short on time, so board members, are we ready to take action on this item?
say it's a leap of faith on my part, but I know your background. So I know the things that you need to make. So I would say I move with the city, that we recommend the city council that they allocate $100,000 of the LTAC monies to, and who is it going to? It's going to city of Sunnyside? Is it going
Yes.
to the city of Sunnyside to accomplish as much as they can, it's true.
One second.
Okay, a motion by Mr. Denny, as stated by himself, and a second by Ms. Foster. Do I have any debate?
Did Yakima Valley Tourism ever come back to you?
Yeah, we met with them. George and I met with John Cooper, and we talked about perhaps them putting together this taco. We found this taco crawl website out of Kansas City. It's amazing, and they knew exactly who developed that. So we talked about with John having them be the ones that sort of facilitate that, as part of the marketing strategy. So we are working with them on our what do you call them, George, the foldouts. And so we're still working with them, and
the reason I ask is that they have a lot of resources, and honestly, some of the people they have in house, Daniel in particular, are really good.
No, I know Jackie loves Daniel. He's
super very, very good at what he does, and it'd be nice to be able to tap into that particular skill if you can.
I still consider him a great partner, and we're still working on ways to work together.
Okay, motion in a second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. I also vote aye, motion passes. And let's go to, so I distributed the minutes for did everybody get a copy? That way.
I think there was more than one in that, probably.
Distributed the minutes for approval for our
was from-
October 2nd.
It was from July. The top is July 12th, 2024.
Yeah, for our July 12, 2024 meeting. it's the minutes for that particular meeting. And I believe we're working on the other minutes, so you have a motion to approve minutes.
Move that we approve the minutes as written.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Foster and a second by Mr. Denby to approve the minutes as listed. Any debate? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed, no. I also vote aye, motion passes. Item 3, items from committee members. Items. You guys,
I will refer back to D and E of item 2. So we're talking about developing a strategic plan. How do we take this forward? You asked the question. What concrete steps can we take? Are we gonna propose a meeting where we bring what looks like a hero from some of these particular efforts in and talk to them?
I say for our next meeting, if you guys wanna have a meeting in March or in April. First for you guys, we bring in somebody from each other organizations that have been awarded. So they could come to the table and hear us out. I mean, before then, we could type up something. Tom, I wrote some notes, but if you want to email me something, I could definitely type something up so we can have for that meeting. So we can be prepared as to what we envision on tap.
And I think it should be more than just those who have received funding.
Yeah.
Personally, like, talk about the VA and those other groups that could be a potential asset.
So do we wanna, I guess, so we have more room, we could have it at the Justice Center?
Yeah, we could do that, or the community center, we could, yeah, the Justice Center would probably be easier.
And also in that meeting, what I would want to open up to, because there's a lot of questions from different individuals as to, okay, now we have outside money, what can we use it on? Like, is this okay to use it on? Is this
Right.
okay?
I don't
So
know if
you
this is the
guys-
right time too, but we might be asked about the application process. Because I know there's a lot of questions about how to fill out the forms and
We could
what
have,
qualifies.
we could have an item where they could come to the podium and ask the questions, and then we can answer them, and we'll answer them. If not, we'll, write down the questions and do some digging.
I think that we actually had I don't want to call it a seminar, but I think we had a session where we explained to people how to fill out the
Mhm.
RFP.
Yeah. Or maybe that is something we do later in the year after we talk further about how we want to change the process for the 2026 funding here. And we probably want to roll that out in the summertime, because that's usually when we started looking at the next year's stuff.
Mhm.
Cause the 2025 ones were due in August, and so if we wanna change it for 2026, it's really changing it in the second half of this year.
Mhm.
So maybe once we get to that point, we can have more of that type of work through going.
We can do that. I would warn that if people come to the podium and they start asking questions, the meeting could evolve into a how to figure out the RFP, which I would rather not see. I'd like to keep it at a higher level.
Okay, okay, I agree.
And would it be, I'm just thinking that I have a friend that does like he facilitates these kind of open meetings where envisioning kind of meetings, like.
Like a facilitator.
Yeah, I'm sensing we need a facilitator that, draws on the board and, and maybe the community center is a better forum for if the intent is to invite the public to say, hey, and what are we trying to accomplish? What is Sunnyside's brand? What do we need to promote? Who are the businesses that we need to highlight is our goal in the strategic, this meeting, to get those kind of questions answered. So my sense is we would need kind of an outside facilitator. I think I know a really good guy.
Would you charge for it?
He would, we'd have to figure out a way to, and he'd probably give me a good deal. I've known him for years with the Zach Bradkai out of Tri-Cities, and he did Yakima's kind of strategic vision with their council. He's done Toppenish. He's a really good facilitator. So somebody like that comes in and he brings all the.
If we bring in LTAC utilizers or people who
Yeah.
potentially utilize to participate in it.
All in favor of that idea.
Okay, yeah, I'll reach out to him and see what it would cost.
So that kind of dwindles down to the future agenda items, which we're talking about it now. Set a time and date for our next meeting. Do we want to meet in March or April? Want to give us some time to plan this out?
It might be good to do this meeting in early April. It's warming up a little bit. That'll give us time to work on dates and things. But March, I'm good. Whatever the board thinks.
If we do April, I mean, it gives us some time to, write some notes down and some items.
And in the meantime, I'm open to meet. If you guys, if anyone wants to meet individually, or Tom, you want to talk a little bit more about, particular strategies that'll drive people to your hotel.
Yeah. It'll take me. I'm trying to remember where I put it. I know I wrote something up similar to what you asked for.
Okay.
So I've got it.
What are, I think you guys are schedules
Well,
are
what kind of
busy.
time of day would we do this at, like daytime, or would we try to do it in the afternoon or lunchtime, or I don't know.
I know the feedback. I've done a few community forums recently. I had only scheduled one for at noon, and then people were like, "What about the people at work?" So it would be nice to maybe do one day with a couple of. I know it's a huge commitment, but it does help, and it got good feedback.
Well, maybe if we just do one at 5, we kind of includes everybody.
Yeah, I mean that's good too. Yeah.
Plus, they'll have the option to zoom in.
Yeah, they could. I mean, yeah, I really just.
Yeah.
Either way, I think it works.
If it's after like normal work hours, Tuesdays, evenings are the best for me to do things 5 and beyond.
Tuesdays are the worst day.
Okay, that's fine, I can do other days, Thursdays are somewhat okay, there's just a couple Thursdays in each month that don't work, but like Thursday the 3rd is fine of April. It's actually fine pretty much any time that day.
I'm wide open that day too.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
So we can do Thursday the 3rd at 5.
Yeah.
To 7, 2 hours, or is it 1 hour?
2 hours.
Yeah, probably a couple hours. Yeah.
And we'll just decide later where we're gonna have it.
Yeah, and I'll check on the Law and Justice Center because it would be nice, for people to be able to come up to the mic and be able to hear them or whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, there's nothing further. Join this meeting at 10:24 a.m.
Awesome, thanks, guys.
Thank you guys. Good meeting.
Yeah, excited about.
Good start. We can really do a lot.
Yeah.
We'll send that video that Roger brought.
Oh yeah, I'll send this to the group. Yeah,
Thank you.
it's good. It got me fired up. But I think